Keep canceling your Amazon Prime. Keep canceling those who support Donald Trump and his twisted ideologies. Stand up for our rights for America. Impeach Donald Trump. Hold these companies accountable. Get the people that don't care about our health out of the CDC. Get good people in there that do give a damn about our health. Keep speaking out against the tyranny that is happening in this country. I'm still going to critique our president. And right now, our president is a vile piece of crap that should be impeached and put in prison. Not just for what happened recently, but for what happened on January 6th of 2020. And how he denigrates women and denigrates disabled people. And he hates our military. He talks about, I don't like people who are captured. Don't ever forget that. I certainly haven't. But the MAGA idiots might want to. But you cannot hide from that anymore. You cannot hide what he tried to do. You cannot hide what he tried to do. And if you watch what happened just a day or two after Charlie Kirk was brutally assassinated, to people like Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk is expendable. His wife is expendable. His children are expendable. Donald Trump wants to do away with needed vaccinations. We got rid of things like polio and smallpox. But for all I know, Donald Trump wants to bring those things back in the bubonic plague. Keep up the fight for our democracy. Get rid of these clowns that think they know what's best for our health. If those that don't want to get the shots, they're free to not do so. But for people like me, I care about my health. I care about my family. I do everything I can to make sure that I get my shots for flu, my pneumonia shots, and my shingles shot. I even got that this year. I saw my brother go through that, and it's not funny. But keep up the fight against Disney. Keep up the fight against any conglomerate that will bend to Trump's will. Put these guys on notice that if you're going to fire people for just critiquing Charlie Kirk and what happened to him, then you should be screwed, blued, and sued. So, those who were fired from their jobs wrongfully should be in the court suing their former bosses. Those who go back to their bosses and kill them, you don't qualify for that. Those who say something like, I could shoot someone and not lose voters. I could shoot someone and get away with it because Donald Trump would allow it. You don't qualify for that. No. I have a right to critique our government. And right now, the government as a whole sucks. Because they're allowing Donald Trump to censure and silence people like me, people like Colbert, people like David Letterman, and so on and so forth. But if we can stand up for Jimmy Kimmel, we need to stand up to fight for lower prices at the grocery store, lower prices at the gas station, and fight for the rights of transgenders that need the proper medical care that they do need. Places like Children's Hospital have stopped giving treatment to transgender children. That doesn't sit well with me. And now Donald Trump wants to make some decisions about Antifa or something about autism. I wouldn't trust anything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth about autism because I have a niece that has autism. She cannot speak for herself, and I will fight to my death for her. She's not my kid, but she's my niece, and I love her very much. Just like you wouldn't want your daughter to be treated like a sexual play toy by somebody like Donald Trump or Jeffrey Epstein. And again, release the unredacted Epstein files. We know he's in there and he's afraid. Donald Trump is failing in his health, and he should be held accountable for that. As far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump is part of the sex trafficking scandal that has hounded Epstein and cost Epstein his life. You know? It's a beautiful thing I like to call karma. And as they say, God don't like ugly. You know, Epstein trafficked young people. Ghislaine Maxwell was a part of that. And I'm most certain that Donald Trump was a part of that. If we could stand up for Jimmy Kimmel talking about how Donald Trump was acting after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, then we can stand up against Donald Trump forcing Disney and the FCC to pull Kimmel from the air. But we, as an American populace and people around the world, didn't stand for that. We stood up. We canceled our Disney Pluses. We canceled our Amazon Primes. And we are certainly going to cancel Donald Trump by evoking the 25th. We must evoke the 25th. Even Ted Cruz knew what Donald Trump did was wrong. He said it was like something out of Scarface or The Godfather. We could do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way. And I'm going to use that analogy. You know, we could either sit and wait for Donald Trump to go through these next 4 years doing the shit that he's been doing, or we can impeach him. And he should be impeached. He was twice impeached before. We can do it again. Because he's trying to silence our free speech. He's trying to silence autonomy for women and the rights of our gay community. And he's trying to put people back in segregation, you know. He's trying to treat blacks like animals. And he's trying to segregate everybody again. He's trying to put women back in the home where men only are the ones that work. Women are supposed to stay home and raise the babies and pop out more kids. No. A marriage is a 50-50 thing. You know, the woman and man can, if a woman and man can have sex, then you have to pay for it, 50-50. You put money in your kid's college fund. The man puts in money to the college fund. The woman puts in money to the college fund. You put half of your money into your bills, your property taxes, the things your kids want and need. It's a 50-50 thing. Sometimes you have to work 2, maybe 3 jobs. It goes with raising a family and being a responsible car owner, you know. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're part of the problem. But I must ask you, evoke the 25th. Start holding people accountable. Rodger Jackson is now facing the justice system. R. Kelly has faced the justice system. Harvey Weinstein has definitely faced the justice system. So you cannot place the race war on this one. You know, hold Rodger Jackson accountable by more than 6 years. I heard he wasn't charged for attempted murder, which I think is wrong, because he did try to kill Psycho Stu. And Rampage, the father, really needs to seriously reevaluate how he raised his children. Otherwise, his son could have ended up in the gas chamber or on the gurney getting the shot to put him to death. Hold these people accountable. And if we could do it for Kimmel, we could do it for our government. We need to hold them responsible. It's not about party lines. It's about anyone in the government that sits on their hands and allows the Trump freak show to continue. You start taking away our rights to free speech, don't expect us as a country to sit there and take it. We're not going to take it anymore. I certainly am not. That's my take on this, ladies and gentlemen. Put your words below, and if you want to keep it going, you should keep it going. It's not if you want to keep it going. Keep it going. Don't bow down to Disney. Don't sign back up on Disney just because Kimmel was reinstated. Keep doing what you're doing. Hit them in the pocketbook. Make changes. Make changes on their platforms. Make changes in their theme parks. Get them to lower their prices. Get them to start thinking about the American populace as a whole. Don't bow down to one man because he tells you to. Charlie Kirk talked about preserving free speech. But people like Jimmy Kimmel did not make threats on the American people. People like Jimmy Kimmel didn't say, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose voters. He didn't say that. He made a lighthearted jab at how Donald Trump was acting after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And to me, what I saw was a man that thought, Charlie Kirk is expendable. I don't care. I'd rather talk about my big, beautiful ballroom that replaces the rose garden that was so lovingly planted by past members of our government. That stuff is expendable to Donald Trump. People are expendable to Donald Trump. And he got that shit from his father, who thought his oldest son was expendable. When his oldest son died of alcoholism and didn't have the balls to tell Mary L. Trump what happened to her father, she called another member of the Trump family and said, honey, your father died. He died of his alcoholism. It took another member of his family to get the truth about her dad while she was away at college. So, think about it. Hold people accountable. That is what I'm saying. Don't sign back up on Disney Plus. Don't reinstate your Amazon Prime. Make them pay for bowing to Trump and his so-called FCC. Because let me tell you something. If the FCC gave two shreds of a shit years ago, we wouldn't be seeing people twerk and do nasty shit that was never allowed on TV over 60 years ago. Make them accountable. We fought for Jimmy Kimmel. We got him back. But never let them forget, and don't go back to these companies. Make them pay. And for those that were wrongfully terminated, sue your boss. And those who went to one of the ABC buildings and shot it up, you need to be in jail. If you didn't protest peacefully, then you should be in jail. Those who protested peacefully and spoke out on their critique of Trump and didn't advocate for harm and were wrongfully terminated, you should fight for your job. But then you should get the money from your business because they have a lot of money. And that a lot of money could hold you over until you could find another job. Hold businesses accountable. Hold your constituents accountable. And especially those who sit by and do nothing to stop Donald Trump and his 3-year-old temper tantrums. Get him out of office. That is the next thing we need to do. Evoke the 25th. Evoke the 25th. Evoke the 25th. Log over. Peace.